There is a huge leak in the world of news today. A massive list of Chinese Communist Party members, nearly 2 million of them, has been released to the public. Let me show you. Sky News. Sky News' Sherry Markson reports on the matter. A major leak containing a register of the details of nearly 2 million CCP members has occurred, exposing members who are now working all over the world, while also lifting a lid on how the party operates under Xi Jinping. So this is a video, so unfortunately won't be able to read much more here. Oh no, there is a bit more. Party branches have been set up inside Western companies, allowing the infiltration of those companies by CCP members, who, if called upon, are answerable directly to the Communist Party, to the chairman, to the president himself. Along with personal identifying information of nearly 2 million party members, there are also details of 79,000 Communist Party branches, many of them inside companies. Likely to be embarrassing. Yes, of course, it will be very embarrassing. Going to embarrass some global companies who appear to have no plan in place to protect their IP from theft. This is, of course, a big deal because if you're a big company, you have important, valuable intellectual property, and you wouldn't want it to leak to anybody. Here, another news site, the Epoch Times, reports on the same matter, saying that some members of the CCP have been employees of Boeing and pharmaceutical company Pfizer, which, as we all know, just delivered the world's first COVID-19 vaccine. The organization that released the the data, is the Interparliamentary Alliance on China, a global coalition of lawmakers, and obtained the data from an unidentified Chinese dissident. They just released this hot off the press. I highlighted some paragraphs here. The Mail, the newspaper in the UK that received the data, found that major aerospace companies like Airbus, Rolls-Royce, and Boeing have employed hundreds of CCP members. Additionally, Pfizer and the drug maker AstraZeneca, also making a COVID vaccine, employed a total of 123 party members. British automaker Jaguar Land Rover also employed CCP members. The database showed that over 600 were employed across 19 branches of HSBC and Standard Chartered. Chinese academics with membership also worked at British universities, where they're involved in sensitive research, including aerospace engineering and chemistry. So, all over the place and in very, very important industries. Some CCP members work for British consulates, and that's kind of crazy to me. Why would you not do a background check on people who are going to work in your consulates? It sounds like a very basic thing to do. At a British consulate in Shanghai, one CCP member was a senior official whose duty included supporting visits by British officials to China. Another CCP member worked near to a team of MI6 officers operating under diplomatic cover. So they're spies, basically, working close to the spies. And your spy could be exposed by the fellows working close to them who are actually working for your rival. The Mail concluded that there's no evidence that anybody on membership list has spied for China. Yes, no evidence. Doesn't mean that it hasn't happened, but no evidence. It could also be that it hasn't happened at all, but we don't know that, and I think that's the point, that it needs to be discussed, it needs to be investigated, people need to know. So let me show you the announcement by the Interparliamentary Alliance on China. Here we go. Released just yesterday afternoon. A spokesperson for IPAC said a representative of IPAC received this list from a non-governmental source but was not in a position to verify, so handed it to experts. Journalists have since investigated, and their findings are disturbing indeed. Yes. And is IPAC legitimate? Well, they do have this famous Twitter checkmark, which means that their identity has been verified by Twitter. Can't say if that's the same for other people. And I went to actually take a look at the data. Now, I've anonymized some super important personal data, like the individual's address, mobile number, landline, and degree. But it is all there if you Google it. So what we have here are just some very, very top level things like name, gender, ethnicity, origin, and the unit that they're tied to. So you can see that there are a lot of units. They're like all these came in CSV files, so one can easily look at them in Excel. Yeah. All Han people, mostly from Shanghai, and from the units can be towns and companies, I believe, in some cases. Yeah. So why is this important? Well, let me show you. Well, spying is a legitimate, like really big concern. You see here, middle of last year, a Singaporean man named Dixon Yo, I believe, yes, he was arrested and charged and pled guilty to spying for China in the United States. Now, his job was to speak to American officials and try to get some information from them. Just trying to find out, oh, what's going on in your office? You know, what's the word on the town, word on the street? I believe that he didn't have a lot of access, so he couldn't be relied upon to access high-level officials. But I believe he used LinkedIn a lot. I read about this case before. He used LinkedIn, reached out to people, asked them, you know, hey, can we meet professionally? Just want to hear your views on something. And then after that, you'll ask, oh, so what about China? You know, what do people say in your office? So it's a big deal. He could face up to 10 years in prison. And this was reported in Singapore as well. Of course, you know, it's a big embarrassment for Singapore. But there was, you know, not a big deal subsequently. It was a big deal for a brief moment. And that's not the only one. Just last week, there was news that, yeah, a Chinese spy slept with, courted US officials to gain intel. And who do we mean by US officials? Apparently, at least 2 mayors and probably a congressman, Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell. Now, this guy is hilarious because I saw screenshots of him liking Facebook posts by the Chinese spy, and she in turn liking Facebook posts by him. So they probably know each other fairly well, at least on Facebook, right? It turns out that she was a fundraiser for him when he was still just a city level official, and now he is in Congress and actually sits on the House Intelligence Committee, which is the committee responsible for evaluating all the intelligence information, you know, for overseas, for foreign governments, right, foreign countries. And to mind-bogglingly, he was targeted by a spy, and might have been his girlfriend. It's yeah, terrible, because actually he's married. US officials know of at least 2 mayors who had romantic relationships with the spy. The accused spy had sex with an Ohio mayor in a car. Yeah. Another US mayor described as older and from an obscure city called Fang, his girlfriend. And here they are, Eric Swalwell and our Chinese spy, Christine Fang. So it's a big deal. And you might think, oh, well, surely, you know, that's as far as it goes. I mean, that's already a very big deal. I mean, Singaporean guy, academic, I think he was academic, Dixon Yo, being roped into, you know, spy plot, and then, you know, a member of the Congress on the House Intelligence Committee also, you know, being formally caught up in this, you know, spy intrigue. So did he share anything with her? Nobody knows. But he's now come out to say that, okay, we ended everything in 2015. Okay, I've never seen her since. So that's the claim. But that's not even where it stops. Look here. Emails reveal how Hunter Biden tried to cash in on behalf of a family with Chinese firm. So this is a huge deal. This is in case you don't know, Hunter Biden is the son of alleged president-elect Joe Biden. And yeah, it's been reported that he pursued lucrative deals involving China's largest private energy company, and one that he said would be interesting for me and my family. The emails obtained by the New York Post, which totally trustworthy, oldest newspaper in the United States. The emails were from a laptop that Hunter Biden allegedly left at a repair shop, forgot about it, and later on the owner opened it up and found out, oh my gosh, there's so many private, classified things here. I better send them to the authorities, and he did. You can see some of the screenshots here. CEFC is that private Chinese energy firm, and they're talking about equity distribution, 10 held by H for the big guy. Allegedly, big guy is Joe Biden. So this is a big deal because later on, it's revealed elsewhere that, well, Joe Biden has in the past flown Hunter Biden, his son, to China for private equity deals, which is kind of what he's involved in here. And is that allowed? I don't know. And is it acceptable for him to be doing big value business with Chinese partners, especially because the large private energy company had a CEO, chairman, and that ultimately was thrown in jail. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, let me see. Yeah, who had ties to the Chinese military and intelligence service, hasn't been seen since being taken into custody by Chinese authorities in early 2018, and CEFC went bankrupt earlier this year. So, this is very, very, very shady, like classic shadiness. And you think, okay, but, is this really trustworthy? Well, first of all, I think it's trustworthy. It's reported by a very trustworthy news source, and there are actual documents to show what had occurred based on a laptop that we know how it came about. So it seems that every step of the way we have a good explanation for how it has been arrived at. And then now we found out that the U.S. Department of Justice actually has a probe into Hunter Biden that extends beyond Burisma, which is his Ukrainian company with him on the board. So it extends beyond that and also goes into his dealings in China. So there you go. The government is also investigating Hunter Biden's business dealings. So the son of the alleged president-elect has very close ties to China. There's members of Congress in America who are suspected of sleeping with Chinese spies. There's Singaporeans caught up in spying for China in the United States. And now we have a list of nearly 2 million Communist Party members leaked on the internet, purporting to show, members working in large organizations, large companies, government agencies, and so on. So what is a regular person to think of this? I really don't know, but I would say that it is probably a good idea to be rather cautious and to show some concern about how this impacts your country, and especially for me, the two countries that I care about the most, Malaysia and Singapore. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen here. And I would be, keeping a very close eye. And if I have to interact with news or, elected leaders, I would probably want to ask the questions because I think these are worth thinking about and worth being careful about. And this is something that I think you may not encounter in the news. So, please take this carefully. I think it will be something that's very contentious in the days to come. But do check it out on your own if if you don't believe this 100%, which I expect because you shouldn't believe things you hear from a guy on YouTube 100%. But yes, I hope that it gives you something to think about, to look into, and lets you see the world in a little bit more clarity than you did before, than you did yesterday. All right, thank you very much for your time. Talk to you again soon. hit like and subscribe, if you like what I was talking about, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.